I want to give a quick introduction to this episode that I'm recording after I recorded the episode because I'm warmed up now. The beginning of the episode, I'm going to admit it, it's a little bit slow, but the topic is very interesting. And the end, the second half is amazing. And I learned some cool stuff recording this about AI and SEO and how the new AI overviews affect search engine optimizers. This is a cool one, cool research. Okay, jumping into it now. Here's some of the things I'm going to share on today's episode. Which sources are included in AI overviews within Google? Do all organic results have a chance of being an AI source? Are all sources in the AI overviews equally important for Google? How many sources does Google actually link to in an AI overview? How common are AI overviews in search results now? Do AI reviews lead to fewer clicks on websites than before? And how to prepare for AI overviews in the EU. One of my favorite follows on X @LilyRayNYC shared this article from Systrix yesterday. I skimmed it. It looked really interesting. And instead of just reading it myself, I said, I want to read this and I want to make a podcast tomorrow. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. And as I read this, it's going to be on the podcast. So as you hear this for the first time, I'm going to be reading it for the first time. But it looks like a phenomenal article that even I will learn from. So I am hyped. You know, I like to learn. I love to learn. This is going to be good. The title of this is AI versus SEO. What does the future of search look like? There is a spirit of optimism in web search. Since generative AI made its breakthrough with ChatGPT, Google's competitors have sensed the chance to break the search monopoly. Can this succeed, and how is Google positioning itself? For a long time, Google's monopoly in internet search seemed invincible. Well over 90% market share in the Western world, control over relevant access technologies such as the Chrome browser or the Android mobile operating system, and lucrative deals with gatekeepers such as Apple and Firefox have nipped all attempts at competition in the bud over the last 10 years. Since OpenAI achieved its breakthrough in the general usability of generative artificial intelligence, Gen AI, with ChatGPT at the end of 2022, Google's challengers have seen the cards reshuffled. Microsoft entered into a close cooperation with OpenAI early on, and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is challenging Google. I want people to know that we made them dance, Satya Nadella said in an interview in reference to the AI capabilities of Bing and Google. While Bing search enhanced with AI features has not been able to meet the high expectations in recent months, Bing's market share has remained largely stable. The next generation of AI search engines is just entering the market. ChatGPT search was launched a few days ago, and Perplexity has seen a significant increase in user interest in the recent months. What both search engines have in common is that they take a different approach to answering searches than Google's well-known 10 blue links. They use the strength of large language models in processing language and formulate information from different sources to form an overall answer. But is this really the future of web search? Forecasts from market research companies such as Gartner have often been wrong in the past. A good example, predictions about voice search. On the other hand, there is currently a high level of dissatisfaction with the quality of Google's search results, a general willingness to switch, and a new technology that enables a leap in the user experience. Possible scenarios. Number one, 3 scenarios. Number 1, nothing happens. Similar to voice search, there are no significant changes in the demand for AI features in search and user behavior. Number 2, ChatGPT or Perplexity become market leaders. Competitors can offer a significantly better search experience that users switch to en masse. Number 3, Google slowly but steadily expands AI integration. User habits and technological advances are good enough to allow Google to defend its market position as it gradually integrates AI features. From my perspective, scenario 3 is currently the most likely. Even if Google does not currently seem particularly confident in the implementation of AI features, the search engine giant still has a big lead and will very likely know how to use this. So it's a good time to take a closer look at Google's AI overviews. What do we already know about Google's AI overviews? Google is quite transparent about how the AI overviews generally work. In contrast to the normal, quote-unquote, normal ChatGPT answers, the answers in Google's AI overviews are not generated completely from the entire AI corpus. The first step is a classic web search and the selection of trustworthy sources. Only then does the AI language model come into play and formulate the contents of the AI overview on this basis. So here are the sources that are included in AI overviews. To verify what was just said, and what I just said was what Google has said, to verify that, Systrix, who made this article, first looked at how many of the sources from the AI overviews actually appear in the traditional organic web search results. Since Google has not yet rolled out the AI overviews in Europe, All of the following evaluations refer to the feature integration in the United Kingdom. The results are clear. In 37% of cases, all URLs from the AI overview appear exactly as they do in the top 100 SERPs. In 62% of cases, all domains from the AI overview also appear in the top 100 SERPs. In 98% of cases, at least one URL from the AI overview also appears in the top 100 SERPs. Do all organic results have a chance of being an AI source? We wanted to find out whether Google considers all content from the organic index as a potential source for the AI overviews box, or whether search engines make a pre-selection. To do this, we analyzed how many different domains actually appear in the organic index, in the featured snippets, and in the AI overviews. In the organic results of the UK SERPs, search engine results pages, we see 18,404,705 different domains. There are 491,000 different domains seen in the featured snippets. In the AI overviews, only 274,000 domains are currently cited and linked. Don't worry if you can't pay attention to the numbers. This is going to be synthesized, I'm sure. I actually don't know because this is my first time reading this, but I'm assuming that all of this is going to be synthesized with conclusions in this article. Oh, actually, the conclusion's right here. Here too, the conclusion is clear. Google is extremely selective when selecting sources for the AI reviews. Only top domains have a real chance. Are all sources in the AI overviews equally important for Google? The possibility of being named a source in the AI overviews is one thing, but appearing there frequently is a completely different matter. Therefore, in the next step, we examined how often individual domains are actually named as a source by Google. We sorted all the domains found there in ascending order according to the number of keywords for which they appear in the AI overviews. Here is a selection. So we see YouTube, Wikipedia, NIH.gov. It's all just top websites. Even PayPal, but PayPal has way less keywords than YouTube. It's very interesting that YouTube is being cited a lot because YouTube, I've talked about this before, is very easily gamed with SEO. All you do is you take your keyword, you put it at the beginning of the title on YouTube for a YouTube video, you put it at the beginning of the description for your YouTube video, and you write a long description. It's very easy to rank one on Google and on YouTube for your keyword. Just doing that. Take your keyword, put it at the beginning of your YouTube video title, put it at the beginning of your YouTube video description, and have a long description, a long, dense description. And YouTube is number one for how often individual domains are actually named as a source by Google for the AI overviews. So the research continues. The number of keywords drops massively between positions on this list, 1, 10, and 200. The air at the top is even thinner here than in the organic index. Fewer domains receive visibility in the AI overviews. The competition will therefore be tougher than before. How many sources does Google actually link to in an AI overview? A big difference between featured snippets and AI overviews is that with featured snippets, only one source is cited and linked, while in the AI overviews, Google brings together several sources and links them accordingly. We want to know how many sources Google cites on average in an AI overview. Here is the result of our analysis. I'm just going to share this. So the number of sources in AI overviews most commonly is 6, and close below that is 5. It's safe to say it's usually between, I'm just looking at this graph real quick. It's usually between 4 and 7. It's usually between 4 and 7 sources that are cited in AI overviews. Very rarely is it just like 1 or 2 or 3. And so the explanation here says, it is easy to see that usually between 5 and 6 different sources are linked in the AI overviews. It is extremely rare for Google to link to just one source there, as is the case with featured snippets. 10 or more sources are also the exception. That's interesting. Featured snippet, it just answers your question right there, and it pulls something directly from a web page and then cites that single web page. That's a featured snippet. AI overviews use generative text and then use several sources. And it's usually not one source. It's usually 6 sources, 5 sources. Crazy. How common are AI overviews in search results now? Since Google rolled out the AI reviews in the search results first in the USA and then in other countries, we have been measuring their distribution in districts. Unfortunately, there are no figures from the EU yet, as Google is still holding back on rolling out the AI reviews here. However, we do have current figures from UK search. So this is in the UK, and growth picks up rapidly, but then just stops at 3.5%, and now it is hovering around 3%. So 3% of queries are AI overviews in Google search, and that's within the UK. While growth was quite rapid in the first few weeks, it has recently slowed down somewhat and is currently stagnating between 3 and 4% of keywords. We are keeping an eye on this and assume that the value will continue to rise. Why? Here's a comparison of the distribution of featured snippets and AI overviews. And we can see that featured snippets goes down from about 11% to, it looks like, 8.5%. So featured snippets decrease from 11% to 8.5%, whereas keywords with AI overviews have gone up. I mean, they just launched. They launched actually in August. So they only launched a few months ago and they're at around 3%. It is clear that there is a connection. While Google displays more AI reviews, it comes at the expense of featured snippets. This is not surprising as both SERP features serve the same search intent, and AI overviews are likely to deliver better results for both Google and searchers in most cases. Do AI reviews lead to fewer clicks on websites than before? The big question that concerns the entire SEO industry is, of course, what effect the AI overviews have on the number of visitors to your own website. In order to be able to evaluate this, we compare current click-through rate (CTR) data from UK Search for featured snippets and for the AI overviews feature. The click-through rate indicates what percentage of searchers click on a result in the search results. Here are the values for featured snippets. This is crazy. Crazy. The data is surprising. Currently, the AI overviews in position 1 are leading to more clicks than featured snippets. This is in line with what Google has communicated recently. But honestly, who would have trusted Google on this topic? The fact that the data confirms Google here is on the one hand encouraging, but on the other hand, it also shows that we in the EU do not have to be afraid of the introduction of AI reviews, at least not in their current form. Crazy. Cool. AI overviews get more clicks than featured snippets. Whoa. See, it's fun. It's fun to read this. It's fun to read this with you. It's fun to share this experience. I just learned that. That is wild. And here's the last section. And now, how to prepare for AI overviews in the EU. They include this here. I'm actually traveling through the EU. Frequent listeners probably know that. I spend most of my time just living in different places in the EU. But next year, I'm going to go back and live in New York City, my home, where I'm from. But it's still interesting to see this. Although Google has rolled out the AI overviews in over 100 countries and for more than 1 billion people, the EU has so far been left out, presumably for competition law reasons. However, I assume that Google will not ignore the important European market forever and that we too will soon be able to enjoy these new SERP features. I guess Strix is based in the EU. So how should you prepare for them? In order to be represented in the various AI searches, it is first important that your domain can be found at all. And for that, it must be indexable. While this is not a big problem with Google, as Google cleverly hides the crawling behind a user agent, the situation is different with competitors such as ChatGPT, Perplexity, and also Bing. These providers are blocked in many robots.txt files. Even if the reasoning behind this is understandable, now is a good time to think about whether this is still the right path. Very interesting. Don't block AI agents in your robots.txt. Also a best practice, which I don't see listed here, put your sitemap in your robots.txt as well. So put your sitemap in your robots.txt. Don't block AI agents in your robots.txt. The article continues, in my opinion, the first E in EAT is becoming even more important, expertise. EAT is an acronym within SEO. It's experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. Since the breakthrough of AI, search engines can produce as much mediocrity as they want. What will continue to be scarce and therefore in demand is unique expert knowledge. Nobody needs a summary of 5 test results from the internet. What is in demand, however, are your own authentic photos, videos, opinions, assessment, and experiences. Even if it almost sounds like a cliche by now, this recommendation also belongs here. Become a brand. In the age of AI search, links are increasingly being replaced by mentions in the semantic environment. However, it is no longer URLs that are mentioned, but brands, people, and generally known entities. Building a well-known and popular brand is difficult, expensive, and time-consuming, but in my view, there is increasingly no alternative. I had that thought, actually, that's the end of the article. I had that thought that it's cool what people do with faceless content, how they can get really fast results with faceless content and then use that to get tens of thousands of dollars MRR for their own apps. But I see the market. And for any listeners, call me out in a year or two from now. I see the market moving to personal brands. So many more people are adopting personal brands. Lots more people, I mean, everyone's messing around. Many people are messing around with video now. So naturally, a bunch of people are also going to adopt faceless. but the openness to embracing a personal brand and developing a personal brand is growing so fast that in 2 years, it will be so much more common. And so you can still get a head start on that now by developing either a personal brand or making your company just more of a brand, enforcing the brand, using social media to enforce the brand, doing more SEO within your niche so that you have higher click-through rates. Your brand is recognizable, which increases your click-through rates in the search engine results pages, and I guess makes you covered more by AI. So here's my takeaways. First of all, AI overviews get more clicks than featured snippets. That's crazy. I didn't expect that one. Feel very good about that. Second, Rand Fishkin, I shared this research a few months ago. He shared his own data into whether or not both alternative search like TikTok search or Instagram search and AI is eating Google's lunch. Because if you see a lot of influencers on Instagram or TikTok, or you see headlines in online publications like the Wall Street Journal, they say Google SEO is dead. It's done. And actually the research was far from that. Far, far, far from that. Somebody asked me, would love to hear your thoughts on what will happen as LLMs are used increasingly for search. And I said, the short answer, Google's market share is still steady at 90%. Its search advertising is up year over year, and users are searching Google more in 2024 than in 2023. And this was shared again by Rand Fishkin in his article, Is Google Losing Search Market Share? And I made an episode about that article. So right now, Google is still dominant. Its market share hasn't budged at all. The only, actually, a little bit, like a percentage point or something, or maybe like a less than a percentage point. And it was to Amazon. It wasn't to TikTok. It wasn't to Perplexity. And people who use AI are also searching Google. Okay, but if you don't believe any of this, the last thing that I'll leave you with is I focus exclusively on bottom of funnel SEO. I'm very good at top of funnel SEO, but I do believe that top of funnel SEO for personal websites is just getting harder and harder. Talk about this all the time. User-generated content is being prioritized within Google and other search engines for top-of-funnel queries. These are queries when you want to know what, why, when, how. But for bottom-of-funnel queries, a lot of the time, it's websites that are showing. And websites that don't have a lot of SEO authority, don't have a lot of SEO domain authority, don't have a lot of backlinks. A bottom-of-funnel query could be collaboration software with intuitive learning. Someone who searches that, they know exactly what they want. They just don't know the brand that's going to give it to them. Could also be artificial intelligence and chatbot development company. Again, someone searching that knows exactly what they want. They just don't know the brand that is going to give them that thing. That's bottom of funnel. And these keywords, not very competitive, few people targeting them. And if your website actually targets them, your website is going to show up number one for that keyword. And this is why I bring this up, because I target these keywords. And actually, if you use search within ChatGPT, the new search feature in ChatGPT, when you search one of my bottom of funnel keywords within this new search feature within ChatGPT, my pages are also picked by ChatGPT. Come on, that's cool. So bottom of funnel SEO works for AI chatbots that are also searching the internet. So you want to learn more about bottom of funnel SEO? I have a bottom of funnel SEO landing page, actually not made for SEO, but it is a page about bottom of funnel SEO. It's called compactkeywords.com, and it's my SEO program that I've been making since April about bottom of funnel search engine optimization. And the landing page is meant to be an educational resource that explains bottom of funnel search engine optimization. Compactkeywords.com for that. And the other takeaway, the important reminder was don't block AI from your robots.txt and make sure your sitemap is also in your robots.txt. If you go to edwardsturm.com/robots.txt, robots.txt, you will see my sitemap in there. It's a best practice. A lot of people like to hide their sitemap. Some people who are doing super sophisticated SEO with programmatic SEO and generative AI, who are generating tens, hundreds of pages a day and ranking for hundreds of thousands of keywords, they will typically make random strings for their sitemaps and then hide those sitemaps so users can't find it. But the thing is, if they want their stuff to be pulled by AI chatbots, then hiding the sitemap is not a best practice. However, if you are trying to game Google with generative AI, I mean, it might be a good practice because you don't want the generative AI training off other generative AI answers. But look, if you're just If you're just like rankings at all costs, then always including the sitemap is a good practice. Always including the sitemap in the robots.txt is a good practice. Anyway, I thought this was a fascinating article, and I am glad that I read it, and I am glad that I shared it with you. This comes from Systrix.com, which produces great research. Thank you to Lily Ray NYC on X for sharing this, and that is episode 493 of my daily digital marketing podcast. I do this thing. When do I do this thing? Someone remind me when I do this thing? Oh, that's right. I do it every day, 7 days a week. Someone called me out in the comments that I always say how often I do my daily digital marketing podcast. And I think it's funny, and I like to say it because I do this thing 7 days a week, baby. I do it for all of you. It makes me feel good. I'm drinking great coffee, feeling so nice on this Saturday afternoon. I hope you're feeling nice too. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for listening. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I will talk to you again tomorrow. Cheers to SEO. We're cheersing to search engine optimization. Bye now.